Even back in the Stone Age, humans made use of biofuels, that is to say, fuel from vegetation, to cook and warm themselves. Fire releases carbon dioxide, which is absorbed by new vegetation, and so on. It goes round and round in rotation, but not entirely without problems. Smoke spreads lots of soot, ash, and other impurities into the air. And most of the heat, well, that was for the birds. The development of stoves, furnaces, and ovens over hundreds of years improved heating performance. But the expanding towns and industries made the air quality much worse. And eventually, man discovered fossil fuels, coal and oil. In the middle of the 18th century, oil heating became popular. Oil was cheaper and simpler to manage than coal. Everything seemed just great. Right up to 1973, the year of the oil crisis, polluted waterways, acid rain and smog in the cities. The balance of nature was in serious trouble. Man was forced to rethink his position. In the town of Södertälje in Sweden alone, there were, for example, 25 large and lots of small oil-fired boiler installations that just poured pollutants right out into the air. In 1982, the solution was completed. It was the Igelsta plant, a large brand new district heating plant that ran primarily on coal. A good solution as long as you could purify the flue gases. Thanks to new technology, this indeed was possible. The release of sulfur, soot and other pollutants was considerably reduced. The Igelsta plant was the first in Sweden to achieve such a highly effective level of flue gas cleaning. Historically, the air around Södertälje improved dramatically. Then a new threat appeared on the horizon. The global greenhouse effect. That's why during the 1990s the Igelsta plant more or less stopped using fossil fuels. By switching to bio and secondary sources of energy, the Igelsta plant has reduced the emission of dangerous carbon dioxide by more than 80%. And who would have thought that right here in the middle of the smokestack you'd find a complete and highly equipped measuring laboratory. Here, the flue gases are continuously read to detect the presence of any substance or pollutant that might be harmful to the environment. The fact is that almost the only thing that is released into the air through the chimney is water vapor.
Det här är verkligen en av de absolut största, mest betydelsefulla investeringar och utbyggnader som görs just nu i Sverige på energi- och miljöområdet.
New times. Söderenergi wouldn't be producing district heating alone. Now they would produce electricity as well. The construction of the new power plant engaged many hundreds of people. Not only in Sweden, but in Finland, Estonia, Poland and Hungary, amongst others.
The inspection is the top of the checking work.
The generator and turbine came from Siemens in Germany.
It is an honor for us to support Söderenergi. Even in particular, it is an environmental friendly initiative. I can't remember so many big ones that we have supplied in the world. I think it's one of the biggest we ever supplied with a turbine.
The transportation of the gigantic turbine and generator to the Igelsta plant and placing it in the new building was a tough challenge. Sweden's largest biofuel-fired furnace was already in place. After a long period of tests, dummy runs and meticulous adjustments, the service came online for real. But how does the new combined district heating and power plant work? Put very simply, you can say that the water is boiled into steam, which drives the turbine, which in its turn is directly coupled to a generator which produces electricity enough for 100,000 houses. The steam, which is still very hot, is passed onto a heat exchanger which warms up the water in the district heating network. The power plant supplies both electricity to 100,000 houses and heating to the equivalent of an additional 50,000 houses. Söderenergi was already previously supplying about 70,000 households, offices and industrial facilities in southern Greater Stockholm via Geneta and Södertäljes fjärrvärme. What makes the new power plant extra effective is that we can even make use of the heat in the purified flue gases from the furnace. In this way, we utilize the maximum heat exchange from the fuel. Is there sufficient biofuel, though, like branches, treetops, twigs, wood chips and sawdust? To be able to have a steady production of electricity and heating demands, of course, a reliable supply of fuel.
Idag är 28% av Sveriges energiförsörjning biobränslen. Men i Svebio så räknar vi med att vi kan dubbla den nuvarande användningen från svenska resurser.
The Igelsta plant has its own quay, which has been expanded to receive large cargoes of fuel by waterway. Amongst others, fuel pellets made from sorted waste paper, wood and plastic, which on a smaller scale are used as fuel in the combined heat and power plant. Many Swedish forests, though, are far away from the coast, so this fuel has to be freighted overland. To make this as environmentally friendly as possible, Söderenergi has built a great new fuel terminal at Nykvarn, adjacent to the Svealand Railway. Biofuel from northern Sweden, for example, is freighted down here by train, quality controlled, and then transported the last few kilometers by trucks.
Och nu tar vi faktiskt även svenska leveranser, mycket med järnväg men även en del med båt. Så det kommer alla vägar.
In the winter of 2009-2010, when the fuel supply together with the power plant were about to go online, we experienced the harshest winter for decades.
Vi har också fått ett kvitto på att det fungerar, för vi har ju verkligen driftsatt det här under svårast möjliga förhållanden faktiskt.
The operations in both the old Igelsta plant, the Fittja plant and the new combined heating and power plant and a couple of other reserve facilities are run and supervised from this control room. This film is nearly over, but not our story. As long as we take the responsibility of adapting ourselves to nature's eco-cycle. You can only influence history in the present, and that means, amongst other things, to continue to develop advanced environmental technology. This is the way to make history.